Hey guys, so we're gonna cover what you guys have probably been waiting on, which is how to buy and sell cars here in the old Manheim app. This tutorial is going to give you kind of an overview of the quick features of the Manheim tool. Um, it is not an end all be all for sure. There are, there's a lot that's on the Manheim platform, but we're going to cover the basics of how to buy, the rules of the road, and so forth like that. So you go to manheim.com. You should have your auto access ID by now, and then you will register for your login and have your specific password. We don't see any of this stuff, so for any reason that you don't have that, you can always do a forgot password or username, or you can just go ahead and sign up. So let's go ahead and get in here. All right, so the first thing that you're going to see, it's kind of like your dashboard, and you can really get in here and customize this to whatever you want personally, right? I like to have what I've bought and sold, and then whatever is on the take care of what I've got to handle. Since I've got to manage the several dealerships, my view is going to look a little bit differently than yours for sure. So let's just go in and see about buying a vehicle. Now, there's a couple different ways you can access buying a vehicle. Of course, you can click the buy tab. You can also go over here in the search bar. If you have a VIN number for a specific vehicle that you looked at before, you can put it here and then make, model, and search. So we're just going to go, and I like to use Hondas and Toyotas, hint, hint. You usually can't go too wrong with buying a Honda or Toyota. For whatever reason, they are, to me, better built cars than everything else out there. But anyway, that's another story for a different day. So let's go to a car. So we want to filter on car. So this is only going to bring up vehicles that are considered cars, and then we have Honda selected. And there are numerous types of Hondas that are on here. So I'm going to click Accord and Accord Sedan, right? So I've got both of those. All right. Now I need to go in here. I can pick the trim. I want to get something that's got less than 150,000 miles. So I'm going to put in here 150,000 is the max that I want. I don't want anything older than 2000, let's say 15. Okay. And then price. I don't want to spend more than $6,000. Good luck with that. We'll see what we come up with. And we have one vehicle. Chances are it's probably not what I want. So I'm probably going to have to expand my search a little bit. So I'm going to say that I'll go up to, let's do something reasonable. I'll go up to 13 or 14,000. All right. We probably should get something here. Okay. So what are we looking at here, right? We were looking at vehicles that kind of match our search criteria. Now, guys, I want to be very clear when I tell you this, guys and girls. I just don't want to say guys. There's a lot of crap out here on the internet, and you need to be very careful what you buy because, if you don't pay attention to the things that are kind of shown and the things that are not shown, you can get burnt pretty quick. Don't get caught up in the price because that will get you go down a rabbit hole each time that you don't want to go down. So let me show you kind of some of the things that I see whenever I look at these. These scores right here are really important. This is based on your auto check. So if you click on this, if we're going to click on this 2017 Honda Accord, we can already see that this vehicle has 3 owners. It's had 5 accidents. Now maybe you don't care about that, right? But if you're trying to sell a clean used car trade, people are going to pull the Carfax car history report. 5 accidents is going to make it very difficult for you to resell this car. I mean, this thing's been pretty much totaled, right? It's also been in New York, so it's going to have salt damage. So biggest things here, just to even look at this before you even click in this for this example, is accidents. A lot of those. New York location, right? Let's look on the auto check and see what it says. So the auto check rates it below the actual desired rating. So it tells you that the title's good, right? So if we look on here, it says that it guarantees the title. There's no issues there, but it's had 5 accidents reports. And everything else checks out. I would pass on this vehicle if it was me. Just because I like quick turnover, and that's going to be very, very difficult. So alternatively, let's go down here a little bit further. We'll find something that makes good sense. Okay, I kind of like this one. All right, so we got a 2016, no accidents, 3 owners. That's a lot, but whatever. PA, once again, could have some salt, so that's a kind of a warning sign there. But we'll take a look at the auto history report just to make sure. No damage. Okay. No history of bad title. All right. Looks pretty decent. So let's go ahead and do some further investigation on this one. So if I can find my mouse, go over here. All right, so let's start looking at the actual photos. It's always good to blow these photos up because they're always going to put the nice, shiny vehicle photo up front. And again, don't get caught up in that. Really look at the stuff that's not being shown. So I'm looking at these photos. Looks like a fairly clean vehicle, right, on the outside. Remember, this is from Pennsylvania, right? So it's going to have a bunch of salt on it probably. So you should be seeing, you should be really looking at everything from the brake caliper right in here, see if there's any rust there, if there's any rust here. This is what your customer is going to look at, right? So frame damage and rust damage is the easiest way to get messed up in the car industry. So you got to disclose all that stuff. Interior is really, really clean. And that doesn't bother me. But let's look inside and see, okay, right here on the dash. This is always important to pay attention to. You want to see, number one, is the vehicle on? Appears to be on. So it's at 1,000 RPMs in park. It's on. What lights are on? Doesn't look like there are any lights that are on. Does that mileage kind of match what was on the actual ad? Make sure that that looks good, right? These are all little things that you kind of really need to be paying attention to whenever you're looking at a car online, because once you buy it, right? So going over all the features of the car, again, odometer, kind of disclosure. I don't see any lights. Well, you got the little tire pressure light right there, right? So just know what those are. If you're unsure what they are, look them up. Don't freak out. Sometimes it's something minor, right? Every light doesn't mean it's going to cost you a $1 billion. It's on auction, so it's not going to be perfect, but just know this is a pretty clean looking car, right? Got a little bit there on the sunroof, eco mode. All right, so how many of you guys would actually buy this car? Yeah, probably all of you. I'm going to pass on this one. You know why I'm going to pass on this one? There are no pictures of the undercarriage. None, right? That's a huge red flag for me. I don't see any. Maybe you can make a contact with this seller, so you can, and that's always a good thing too. If if let's say like you're looking at cars, and you really like this one, but you're unsure about it, what you want to do is you want to come over here. You want to basically save this thing in your workbook, okay? If you want to come back to it. So easiest way to do that is up here at the top. You just put workbook, and that's gonna allow you to come back to it, because you're gonna look at hundreds, if not thousands, of vehicles, right? If you have a question about this, you can always call the auction, or what I like to do is get email. Here's the email address. Email and also text. The reason why I like that is because you get documentation of what you talked about, right? So I would probably ask them, hey, what's the condition of the undercarriage? Can you send me a couple photos? This is green lighted, So what green light means is that it's guaranteed to work, run, and be operable. If it was red lighted, you would actually see that. This does have a salvage retention total loss. So that means it has a salvage title or has been a theft recovery. So just know that, because you have to disclose that whenever you resell the car. And it's going to have big red letters on it that says salvage title. And this guy wants 11 or 14,000 for this. Yeah, he's smoking dope. So I would pass on this one again before I even saw the salvage title. The SD that I just clicked, this is the seller's disclosure documentation. So it basically just has the pictures in it, and the seller has to disclose everything that they're selling the car for, or at least the best of their ability. Sometimes people do it, sometimes people omit things, but again, I wouldn't purchase this vehicle only because I can't see the undercarriage, and it also has a salvage title. Plus, I think the guy wants way too much for it. You're probably asking, well, how can you tell that, Rob? How do you know that? Well, Manheim tries to make this pretty easy for you. So what they do is, this is a good one right here. 1 owner, 0 accidents. It's 92 out of an 89. So this is going to be pretty good buy. It's probably going to be a green light. Yep, green light, 6-cylinder. Yeah, so no adverse conditions report. I'd probably buy this one. As you can see, that the price on this one really matches where it is. So like this gentleman right here, at least the bid right now is at $13,900, but the adjusted MMR or Manheim retail value is $13,700. So this is pretty much where, a line of where it needs to be. Just remember that your selling conditions is going to be different, right? You got to know your customer. So if you're selling these kind of cars, $15,000 cars, you got to have some markup in there. Just remember that if you buy this vehicle, right? So if I were to get ready to bid on this vehicle, I would just come in here. I would, put my price in here, and then I can either do a hard bid, which means this is my final bid, or I can do an up to. So if I did like 15,000 on a proxy, it would bid in $100 increments all the way up to my final price. But if I go in here and I push 13.9, I guess I got to put 14,000 to go $100 above what's in here. And I'm not going to buy this vehicle. But as you can see, $14,000 is what you bid for. Then there is a buy fee. That buy fee increases based on the price of the vehicle. So this vehicle is going to cost me $14,400 to purchase it before I get transport, have to recondition it, put it on the internet, sell it, whatever. So just know that the price you see does not include the actual Manheim Express fee, or whatever it's called, buyer success fee. So 14.4, Manheim says the retail value of this is about, actual cash value, whatever, ACV is a 13.7. And you can check based on where you are in the world. Like if you click that actual button where I'm at, again, so if you click this button up here, it's going to give you the adjustments. It's going to allow you to get the ACV, and you can actually calculate exactly what this car is worth based on market conditions right now. This vehicle is located in Brooklyn. It tells me based on where my dealership is located right now, they're guessing that this is going to cost me $1,800 to ship. Now, we've got some shipping options that are a little bit better than this, so don't ever pay this because, number one, these guys suck, and number two, they're really expensive. But I would pass on this one as well. So, let's talk about after you purchase a vehicle. What do you do, right? So I've purchased a couple cars here lately. Let me go to my post-sale management. So I'm just going to go to purchases. And we'll see purchases last 30 days. Okay, so I bought let's see what a successful one I had. Okay, the Nissan Rogue. Bought this car. What will end up happening is you will get an email That email will say, congratulations, your vehicle's been purchased. And then within that email, you will get a link to go look at it, and you're going to get 2 documents. The first document you're going to get is an invoice. So the invoice is going to break down, and this is important because you need to know how much you're going to pay for this car, right? Or whatever. Now, there are 2 ways you can do this. You can either mail or send Manheim, in this case, a FedEx cashier's check to the address listed on this for payment, which is this right here, right? Now, FedEx does not deliver to PO boxes unless if you have it set up. So just to let you know that your stuff will get returned. The best and easiest way to do this is to email or call us, give us the last 8 digits of the VIN, and tell us you're going to wire, Zelle, or Cash App, whatever you want, the vehicle amount, and then we will pay these guys utilizing ACH directly, and that way you can get your gate pass and your vehicle release same day. So here's the invoice. This is for $6,100, and then this right here is I overpaid for this. Wow. All right, so I need to go back in there and figure out. So I overpaid him by $65. But anyway, that's something cool. It's always cool to have that. This right here is this is their invoice showing receipt of payment. So once we pay them, if we pay them on your behalf, we will send you a copy of the paid invoice, which it looks like this just showed that it was paid. The easiest, cleanest way in the world, and what I like and what I prefer for our members, is for you guys to send us payment for the vehicle, and then we pay it for you. Because that way, if there's any disputes on if you sent payment or not, we can track it. But if you decide you want to send it to them, you just got to send them a cashier's check or a money order. They do not accept personal checks, right? So, and then what you have to do on that check is you need to write your auction access ID. Then you need to write the last. What I usually do, just to go back to this, whenever I buy a vehicle and I'm going to send them a check, I print this invoice off that I'm buying, like the actual invoice itself, and I attach the check to it and I mail it to this address. That way there's no ambiguity about this. Now, Manheim does not accept third-party payments. So what that means is if you get a cashier's check, it has to be from your name. So like right here, Rob Stewart, or the dealer, since I own the dealership, or the dealership. If it's from you, then you're good, right? And you just put the last, 8 digits of the VIN. And then from you, whatever, to Cox Automotive, Cox Automotive is where you make it out to be, right? So remit overnight payments to Cox Automotive Incorporated, and that's in Atlanta. Now, you can go to any Manheim and pay. So if you're down in Florida, you can walk into a Manheim with cash and pay them directly. You just got to take the VIN number and the transaction and do that. If you're in Texas, if you're in Hawaii, if you're in Idaho, whatever, you can go to any Manheim and pay for any vehicle. They will take payment. You just got to call them. So just know that. You don't have to just send everything to Atlanta, because sometimes that takes time. And if you're moving around, whatever. After you have paid for the vehicle, this is very important. What's going to end up happening is they're going to ship your title to our title office. And this is how they will actually upload the FedEx tracking number, and it will be shipped to us right here. This was shipped, this was signed and delivered on, and our folks will sign for it, and that title is ready. Now, why is this important? It's important to keep track of this is because if you go and get this vehicle on a Monday, right, and you sell it on Wednesday, you're probably not going to have the title of that vehicle. It's unlawful to sell a car without having the title. So just know that you need to have that title. We need to have that title in hand and in inventory in order to be able to adequately sell that or legally sell that vehicle. It's very important. So what I try to tell my folks and what I recommend you guys do on this shipping, when you click the actual FedEx tracking number, just put your email address or your phone number in here and click submit, and this thing's going to notify you whenever our office receives the title. That way you know that it's good to go and you can sell it. Now, can you sell it? Yeah, you can sell a car. I mean, if you know for a fact that this thing's going to ship, you know. But let me give you an example where there's a problem with that. Up here, I've had to arbitrate this deal right here because I've had this vehicle for over 30 days and I still have not received a title for it yet. So this Mazda Tribute, I bought this back in January. It's now almost March, and I still don't have it, right? So you run the risk of that. Sometimes people misplace titles, they lose them. There's a whole bunch of stuff that goes on. So don't get yourself caught into that because you will be responsible for providing that person a title. And a replacement title in the state of Florida without an actual damage or loss title and it not being titled in Florida requires you to go get a surety bond. It's quite expensive. I will tell you that we've done it a couple times and it could cost you $500 to $600. Just to get a duplicate title and then, or not a duplicate title, but a replacement title through a bond, because you got to buy a bond, then you got to register it and get the paperwork. It takes time and it costs money. So then you also will be able to get what this is right here, which is very important for you guys, which is a gate pass. So whenever a gate pass is ready, it's going to look something like this right here. If you're getting someone to pick up your vehicle, okay, you're going to need this. You're going to need this right here. This is called a gate pass. They're not going to release this vehicle until you can provide this to them because it has a code on it and it also says you pay for the vehicle. So when we pay for your vehicles on your behalf, we will provide you with an invoice and you should be able to log into your Manheim and print off a gate pass. If you can't, then we can send this over to you. But this is very important. You need to keep this because once you pay for a car, you're not going to be able to get out of security without having this gate pass. They're going to scan this little barcode or ID or whatever, and then they're going to take your ID, put it in the system, and they're going to release the vehicle to you. But without this, you can't get it. Sometimes you'll have issues with transactions. It's just going to happen. So whenever you have an issue with a transaction, just contact us, or you can actually email the point of contact on the deal itself. So like, if we can pull this up, this vehicle showed out of Manheim, Fredericksburg. So you just need to contact Manheim, Fredericksburg, and ask them where the heck your title is, or where your vehicle inspection is, or whatever else, and kind of go from there, right? So this actually ended up being a really good sell for the dealership. This lady contacted me. One of the cars she had totaled her own. I ended up selling this car to her for like $99.99. I think I paid $6,100 for it. So, I made $3,200 in about 4 hours worth of work. So not bad. I mean, that's the kind of customers you want. But again, like I said, you got to know what you're doing. You got to be able to pull this up, do the research on it, and kind of work it out. All right, guys, that takes care of how to buy and sell. So let's kind of recap what we went over here. There's a lot of crap out here on the Manheim platform. We've talked about that. We talked about how to kind of go in here and do a search on vehicles. We will do another video of how to sell. I think you guys are more interested in buying right now, so we'll do that. We talked about how to search, how to find vehicle, and then when we find it, how to make a bid and offer on it. Remember, when you buy a vehicle, you have to pay for it the same day. Manheim only accepts cashier's checks and money orders, no personal checks, and also wire transfer. They will not accept a wire transfer from you because you're a third party. So you have to send that through us, and we have to pay them directly. Okay? They will reject it, or your deal will get held up. You'll be very, very pissed off, and you'll be wondering why you can't get a gate pass for your car. So I'm just trying to save you that headache. I have done it before, unfortunately, and it is a pain in the ass. So I'm doing everything I can to try to help avoid that for you. All right. We also talked about looking at the seller disclosures, reading all the fine print, going through all of the photos. Remember, when you click enter sale or actually submit a bid, you need to make sure you have that money readily available, because they're going to require you to pay for that vehicle immediately once you win it. And you will win the ones that you don't think you're going to win, right? That is just going to happen. So just don't submit a bid unless you plan on purchasing it, because you'll be pleasantly or unpleasantly surprised on those. Also, remember, anything that has to do up north, be very cognizant of what you're buying. I would stay away from anything that's north of North Carolina, quite honestly. It's all salt. It's all eaten up. Pennsylvania is pretty bad. Maine's bad. Massachusetts is bad. Anything up north is going to be cheaper, but it's also going to have a shit ton of rust on it, and I use that term very lightly. So